Hello YouTube, this is Avonlea and I am the owner of the Ava Star character on YouTube and the YouTube channel Hilarious. Last week I apologized for not posting this video and I said that I would post it today on Monday. So here's me keeping my promise and posting this video today, and hope you guys like it, and by tomorrow you're probably already seeing this, and this is because I posted it really late on Monday evening and night. After this, we'll be right back on schedule, and hope you can forgive me for last week's hiccup. Love you YouTube, love you internet, bye. Hey YouTube, I love food. Food is amazing. Registering for school is not a very fun process. So last weekend I was over at my boyfriend's house. He picked me up in the morning on Saturday, and basically he took me out to the Korean barbecue restaurant in his neighborhood. And that was to celebrate our 4 months together. On our first day, I showed him around my community, and basically we kind of had a ball. And then, second anniversary, third month, we just hung out. Fourth month, he decides to take me out to lunch, which was really cool. And at the Korean barbecue, on a weekday at 11 o'clock, you get there and you only have to pay $11 per person. Otherwise, you have to pay $20 per person. So basically, what you do at the Korean barbecue, once you get there and you pay for yourself and all that, you basically go around those tables where the food is already there, and you pick out what you want to cook, and at your table, wherever you get to sit, there's these cooking plates where you get to cook your food, and it's actually really good if you cook it right. My boyfriend and I, we weren't there by ourselves. We had a couple of his friends, his brothers there, and his brother's girlfriend, and then his other brother's friend. So yeah, and then we actually had a Korean with us, who's a friend of ours, who's living with Josh at his house. So our friend Phil, that's his name, he basically helped cook some of the stuff. My boyfriend's brother, Michael, he cooked his own stuff with his girlfriend, and it was a really good day. And the food there, oh my god, it was delicious. So anyway, that's enough about me and my boyfriend for right now. Let's talk about some foods that I like. So I got like a list of my top 5 favorite foods. First one is sushi. I love sushi. It's so good. And they did have sushi over at the Korean barbecue, but I was told not to eat it because it wasn't that good. And I had some crab over there, but it wasn't prepared properly, and I kind of got a little ill from it. So never to do that again when going to Korean barbecue. Seafood is the second thing. Seafood and sushi are 2 different things. Sushi is like raw fish in like rice and seaweed, and it has like either fish eggs on it or wasabi in it. Now just regular seafood, it's like fish, shrimp, all just the regular stuff without having to prepare it all, like it's done with sushi. And the third item on my list is fruits and vegetables. I was raised on eating vegetables, so I find it kind of weird that there are people around me that do not like their vegetables. I mean, the kind of vegetables I was raised off of, it's like really good. And when my dad was around more often and took care of me a little better, he actually prepared the vegetables that I was to eat very well, so that way I would just like scarf it down. And I kind of wish my dad would still do that. Fourth item on my list is noodle and pasta. I love top ramen, and with ramen, whenever I cook it, sometimes add some egg in it or some hot dog. I actually turn the hot dog into like little octopi, and it's so good. And I add some vegetables in it, and it's actually a pretty good dish. And pasta, I do like spaghetti and lasagna. Is lasagna even pasta? Anyway, moving on. My fifth one is dairy products. I like cheese, I like yogurt, I like ice cream. That's my 5 favorite foods. Now, I don't like all food. My stomach is pretty cultured when it comes to food and eating the food. It doesn't matter if I know what it is or not. If it looks good, tastes good, smells good, I will eat it. But I have had some weird experiences with certain foods. Since my dad got engaged, her nationality is Vietnamese. So ever since, I've been given a lot of Vietnamese food. Now, I do like a lot of the dishes that the culture of Vietnam has to offer. Like some of their soups, I like that. I could go a little without the size of it, but it's actually really good. It's either pho or pho, I don't know. But my dad's fiance's mother makes it. It's so good. But there are a couple things that I do not like that's like made in a Vietnamese style. Like boiled pork, where basically what it is, it's just pork where it's fried and it's cooked well done, and then you just put it in a pot and boil it. And I actually gagged from that stuff when I tried eating it the first time, and I don't intend on going back to that experience again. My most recent experience with food that have left me a little scarred was coconut milk from a can. Basically, during this past week, when my dad was like moving his stuff out of his room and stuff like that, I found that there were some foods that he kind of left behind, and one of it was coconut milk. Now, the first time I've ever had coconut milk was when I was in elementary school, and we had like a little lesson about culture, I think, and one of those things like was about like certain islands and stuff like that, where they actually have to cut their coconut, and so we had a fresh coconut, and it was cut in half, and we got to have some of the coconut milk. And to me, when I had it the first time, it was actually really good, and I wanted coconut ever since. Second time, it was a couple weeks ago at a party, and there was a spot on like one of the tables where there were coconut, and one of the people there was drilling holes into it and putting a straw in it so that way we could drink the coconut milk straight out of the coconut. And I wanted one because I was like, oh my god, that'd be like so awesome, I could have some coconut now. And I had it, and it wasn't as great as I remembered it. Not as sweet, it was actually kind of bitter. Just recently, which happened actually this week, I found some canned coconut milk from Vietnam. And I decided to try it, and when I opened the can and put it in the cup, it was actually, it looked like actual milk, and it was like really thick, and it didn't like taste very great. Like, it tasted a lot like when I had the coconut milk a few weeks ago. So what I did was I added a bunch of sugar, and I added some hazelnut coffee cream, and it actually tasted good. And then I decided, hey, you know what, let's water it down with some ice and see if it loosened up the thickness. So I did that. It was pretty good, and I ended up drinking the entire cup. It was like this tall. It was this tall of a glass, and that left me feeling like crap. So note to self, never do that. If you find a can of coconut milk where it's like really creamy, it is meant to be used for coffee or some sort of thing that cream can be used for. Not drink it by itself. No matter how much you water it down or how much sugar you put in it, just don't do it. Just don't do it. My lesson to you, do not drink the coconut milk when it's thick and creamy. Moving on now. So I worked on some papers for registering for school this week, and I had my dad sign some stuff. And one of the things that needed to be signed was information about getting a whooping cough shot. Now, what I've heard and read about schools making sure that their students have their whooping cough shot is that you have to have it or you can't really get your classes in. But there was an option there where the parent can say that they don't need it, or or they can't have a whooping cough shot because of like allergic reaction or something like that. But I don't really know if I had my whooping cough shot or not after the age of 7, because that was one of the things that it said. It was that I had it already when I was like 7 or older, but I don't really know for sure. So my dad, he's supposed to be looking into that, and hopefully I will get some answers this week, hopefully soon. In my next video, I'll tell you how everything went. What I hope to happen on registration day is I get to meet up with my future locker partner, and I get to go through my registration stuff nice and smoothly without any complications, and I will be registered for my senior year of high school. Nah, not good, not good, not good. Sorry, I moved the sofa from where it's not supposed to be moved because some people came in today and kind of fixed the flooring, so I can't really move the sofa till tomorrow. So in my last video, I asked what would you bring home from a hotel room, and I'm giving this shout out to Phantom Rockstar Girl, who had the most interesting response, and she said that she would bring home a chandelier. Now, I've seen a lot of chandeliers in my life, and I've seen them from the sizes between as big as the one in Phantom of the Opera to maybe half the size of a ballroom to like half the size of a small living room to the size of 2 watermelons put together. And that I actually have, but it belonged to my dad, and then he just kind of like sold it or something, I don't know. So that it kind of confuses me on how big would the chandelier be. If it's like a really big chandelier, then I hope to God that you have like a refrigerator sized bag to put it in, otherwise that'd be kind of difficult to carry. And chandeliers are heavy enough as it is. And I'm giving a shout out to another person who has responded because they want me to give a shout out, and that person is Throwing a Spear 17. So look on these people's channels and like them, friend them, subscribe to them, anything you want to do. So yeah, those are my shout outs to these people. This week's question of the day is, how would you tell your crush that you like them? I don't think I really have to do that now, since I'm not single anymore, but I guess I do anyway because it was on my inbox for Form Spring. But if I did have a crush on someone and I was single, to me it depends on how long I've known them. If I've known them for a really long time and we've been really good friends and I've been noticing that like he starts to like me, then like in a conversation that kind of goes along with the idea of us getting together as boyfriend and girlfriend, then yeah, then I might bring up the subject of like, hey, what would you think about us getting together? But since I don't have a crush on anyone and I'm not single anymore, then I don't really have to do that. So leave your response down in the doobly-doo, and I will give a shout out to the person who has the most interesting question. Like me on Facebook, follow me on Twitter, and follow me on Form Spring, and send me messages and send me questions so that way I can have them in question of the day. Subscribe!